Cheevo, guys!
What up, guys? This is
Cheevo, guys!
back here again with another achievement guide. Today, we're going to be focusing on Taimumari Complete Edition. Now, let's be honest, I had to hit up the developer to make sure I said that right, but I can confirm that is how you say it, Taimumari. Anyhow, this game was developed by Ternox Games and was published by Victory Road. Now, this game actually includes two different games. It includes Taimumari Complete Edition and Legend of Himari. We only have two achievements related to the Legend of Himari game, and all of the other achievements or trophies are going to be related to the main mode, which is Taimumari Complete Edition. So let's start off with diving into Legend of Himari, and we're just going to knock out the two achievements or trophies. That way we have those achievements knocked out of the way, and then we can just focus on beating Taimumari Complete Edition. Other than that, you're going to find that my video is about 45 minutes long, so it's going to take you at least 45 minutes at medium. This is with all of the edits, finding the collectibles on the first try. Realistically, guys, this is probably going to take you about 2 hours to get this completed. Now, this is because you have to find all of the collectibles in the game, you have to complete the game, you have to do the two achievements in the other mode, and then we also have to grind 1,500 coins, which when the game launched wasn't tracking correctly, so I actually had to grind about 2,200 coins to get my 1,500 coin achievement. So I want to make sure to set realistic expectations before we dive into this, because realistically, it's probably going to take you anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. More than likely closer to the 2-hour estimate. Also, the developer hooked me up with the God mode cheat, so we'll be able to use that to be able to breeze through the game. But even with the God mode cheat, it's still going to take a while because you have to find all of the collectibles. But this does make it much easier than it probably would have been without the God mode cheat. Just because it makes it really easy, to breeze through the enemies and breeze through the boss battles, things like that. Now, in the last minute of the video, you've been watching me play the Legend of Himari mode. That's the second mode that I mentioned has two achievements. The first achievement is for getting to level 5, and the second is for buying a secondary character. The cheapest character is going to be 100 stars. So ultimately, we need to get to level 5, and we need to collect 100 stars. You really shouldn't have to play this game mode too long to collect 100 coins, maybe 2 to 4 times at the most. Attack the enemies on the left, you have to press X, and to attack the enemies that are coming at you from the right, you have to press B. Once you have collected 100 coins, you're just going to go into normal mode, and then it's going to ask you to choose your character. You're simply going to choose the second character, and you're going to press A to buy it, assuming you have the 100 coins. Or stars, sorry, they're definitely called stars. Once you purchase that character, you're going to unlock an achievement for 30 gamer score, and at this point we have all of the achievements related to Legend of Himari mode. So we're going to go ahead and quit back to the main menu. However, we cannot do that, so we're going to have to force quit the game and restart it. This is going to move us back to the main menu where we have the option to choose one of the two game modes. This time we're going to choose the Taimumari mode, the complete edition. So as I mentioned before, the developer personally sent me the cheat code for the God mode, so here it is, feel free to pause it. But once you enter the cheat code successfully, it's going to pop up the cheats at the bottom. Don't press the cheats menu. At least when the game came out, it appeared to glitch it out, so just press start game and it's going to pop up the cheats automatically. You want to turn God mode on, and then you want to go to new game. You can also access the cheat menu during the pause menu. Not sure if they're going to update it. It was just a little glitchy at launch. As you can see, you can also access the cheats menu through the pause menu. You can also enter in the cheat at the pause menu. You don't necessarily need to do it at the main menu of the game. Once you start the game, you may want to go into the cheats menu through the pause menu and then just toggle the God mode just to make sure that it's on. Now, the only way you'll die when you have God mode is if you fall down a bottomless pit. You will die if you actually fall down one of those pits. Otherwise, you're not going to take any damage. You pretty much won't die any other way. So once you pass this first checkpoint, you're going to fall down this pit. Now this is going to send you back to right where we fell off of, and we want to die 10 times. This is going to unlock our first achievement. Let's just go ahead and get it knocked out of the way, because we're not going to be dying much in this playthrough, given that we're using the God mode cheat. Once you fall down that pit 10 times, we're going to unlock our first achievement related to Taimumari Complete Edition. Now, the reason I recommend doing that after that first checkpoint and not right when you start is because if you fall down the first pit that you see, you're going to have to redo the first dialogue and intro sequence over and over again. So I recommend not falling down the pit until you get to that first checkpoint. Other than that, this is just the intro level. It kind of teaches you how to play. At the start, we have all of the powers because of God mode. So you can slash them with your sword with X, and then you have like a projectile attack or like your special attack with RB. You're going to gain more special attacks as you play the game, and you can alternate through those special attacks by pressing Y. Now we do have these little butterflies flying around. You do get an achievement worth 3 gamer score for slashing one of them. More than likely you're going to accidentally kill one of them while trying to attack an enemy, but just make sure that you kill at least one butterfly to get that achievement. Now we're going to be walking up on the town shortly. Here it is. This is going to be the main base. Once the game gets going after this first intro mission, we'll be able to access all of the missions via kind of like a level select after we complete this first intro mission. Now there really isn't any missables in the intro mission. We just have to get through it to be able to get to the main part of the game. So we can't really talk to anybody or interact with the town quite yet because we're not finished with the intro mission. So you want to head over to the right hand side and you want to clear out the enemies on the way because there is an achievement related to killing 500 enemies, and then we do have 2 achievements related to collecting stars. We're going to have to collect 1,500 stars total to get both of the achievements related to collecting stars. However, at launch, I gotta admit, it wasn't really tracking correctly. I actually had to collect about 2,200 stars for my achievement for 1,500 stars to pop. I also recommend not activating the 99 lives or 999 coins cheats. I'm not too sure if they deactivate the achievements or not. All I know is that the lives and coins that you get via the cheat do not count towards the achievement. For instance, there's an achievement for collecting 25 lives. If you activate the 99 lives, it's not going to pop the achievement for 25 lives. We actually have to collect 25 lives through our playthrough. So just keep in mind, those are some of the goals that we have along the way. We need to collect 25 extra lives, and we need to collect 1,500 coins. If for some reason it doesn't unlock once you have 1,500 coins, don't worry too much. I was in the same boat. Just keep collecting coins until it unlocks. I do have a strategy at the end of the video to farm coins at the end via the level select. So if for some reason you don't have the 25 lives or 1,500 coins, sorry, they're not coins, they're stars. I don't know why I keep getting that mixed up. You know what I mean, guys. But yeah, if you don't have those achievements by the end of the game, there is a way to go ahead and farm them. Now you're also going to see little hearts along the way. Traditionally, this is HP to, gain some health. However, we're in God mode, so we never take any damage. The meter below your HP meter, your hearts, is your magic meter. So as you use your magic, the meter is going to go down. However, it does recharge pretty quickly. Now we're going to be able to save our game shortly after we're done with this intro mission. The game doesn't let you save it until you get past the intro mission, until you are in the town. The town is the only place where you are able to save your game. I think the game also does have an autosave feature. Now, through these boss battles, I'm going to be fast forwarding through them just because they are really easy if you are in God mode because you don't take any damage. So just make sure that you knock out that boss. You really should have no issue with him at all. Once you're done with the boss, you're going to arrive in the town. You're going to find the store next to you to the right. Now you can purchase lives via the store. However, I cannot confirm if they count towards the, collecting 25 lives achievement. I never tried it because I was trying to collect 1,500 coins and I didn't want to waste any coins on buying lives. Now, if you walk all the way to the left, there's going to be a character that we could talk to. This is where the level select and the save feature are. As you can see, we have 4 different levels and then a hidden level. That hidden level is kind of like a longer level where you face pretty much all of the bosses. However, the first 4 levels are just like regular levels with bosses at the end of each of them. Now, in each of these levels, we have to collect all of the collectibles. There are 8 collectibles in each of these levels. Now, some of these collectibles are missable. I mean, the chances of you getting all 8 on the first run without looking at a guide isn't very likely. More than likely, you would need to run through the level 2, maybe even 3 times to make sure that you found all of the collectibles. So I do recommend following along with the guide. That way you can make sure that you find all of the collectibles. Now in this first level, we're going to be collecting shields. Each level has a different collectible type. So we need to find all 8 shields to unlock our collectible achievement for this level. So once you arrive in this first room right here with these pillars, you're going to jump on the first block and then jump to the left. We have a shield up to the left right there. Then we're going to head over to the right. If you guys didn't know, you can hold your magic button, RB, to power up your magic attack. This will make the attack much stronger. You can also climb on walls. You want to climb up that wall and then go over to the right. We're going to have another shield right there. Then you're going to head over to the left. We can hit the spikes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't like automatically kill us or anything like that because we're in God mode. So we do have another shield up to the left over there. And then we're going to head back over to the right. As with most side-scrolling games, the main objective is, to make your way over to the right-hand side. That's how you're going to proceed through most of these levels, is just by proceeding to the right. Now, in this part of the level, we're going to end up in these trap dungeons. The first one has a bunch of arrows shooting at you. This one's really easy. Just stand there because we're not taking any damage because, we're a god. But the next dungeon is a little more tricky, just because you can get stuck. But for now, we're just going to kill the enemies that it drops after the arrow attack. We're going to move forward. And I recommend busting open any boxes that you see. That way you can collect the arrows out of them. Now, we are going to have some more shields coming up shortly. This was actually one of the ones that I missed when I was playing through the game, trying to find all of the collectibles myself. Because personally, when I played this game, there was no guides out, video or written. So I had to find all the collectibles on my own. But you're going to climb up the right hand side, you're going to find a shield, then head immediately left and you're going to find a scroll. These scrolls give you extra magic powers. Again, you can rotate through your magic powers by pressing the Y button. Now this next trap dungeon is the one that I mentioned that can be a little tricky. This is the one with the pillars that try to crush you. Now if you happen to get caught up between one of these pillars and let's say the floor or the ceiling, what's going to happen is the pillar is going to get stuck and you're not going to be able to move. And if for some reason this happens to you, you're going to have to press start and you're going to have to turn off the God mode cheat. That way it lets you die and you could try to do it over again. But you want to do your best to avoid getting smashed by those pillars. After that, you're going to kill the enemy that drops down and then we're going to proceed through the level. Again, we're going to be able to rush through most of these levels probably much faster than we would have originally without the God mode cheat. Just because, we don't take any damage. We could walk on the spikes through this whole section and we would be good to go. Now on the last pillar in this section, you want to make sure that you jump up to the top because there is an extra life and one of our shields. That's another one that's easy to miss. At this part, we're going to just go ahead and chill, really. None of these dragons are going to be able to do any damage to you or anything like that. I personally recommend hanging out on the right hand side at the beginning of this portion of the level, just because there are going to be some bigger stars that are going to be on the right hand side. I think there's like 2 of them before you should head over to the left. After you collect both of the big stars, there's going to be a shield that's on the left, so make sure that you don't miss that shield. Also some more big stars. Now that's going to be our 8th shield, so you should get your achievement for 50 gamer score for getting all of the collectibles in this level. All of the shields. And now we are at the boss battle for the first level, Sir Fallenstar. This boss is going to be really easy because we're in God mode. You guys really shouldn't have any issues with any of these bosses. Thank God, we're not going to get stuck on any of them because luckily we have this God mode cheat. Now I recommend charging up your magic attack or projectile attack by holding down right bumper, RB. This is going to power it up stronger so it does more damage on your enemy. This will help get the life meter on the bosses down a lot quicker. Now I'm going to be fast forwarding through these boss battles just a little bit. That way, they don't take too much time just because they're kind of self-explanatory. But after we're done with that first level, we're going to dive into our next level, which is the explosive level. After you get done with the first mission, it's going to send you back to the town. Just head over to the left and talk to the character again. Make sure you save your game and then start up that second mission. This one is called Explosive. So we're just going to proceed. Just going to start killing the enemies. We don't have any achievements or trophies related to killing any enemy types. Most of the achievements are really just for completing the levels and finding all of the collectibles in each of those levels. So just follow along. We're going to find all of the collectibles in this level. The collectible type in this level is going to be the wrenches. So that's going to be our first one down there in between those pillars. We're going to proceed. I don't really wait for that platform. I just went ahead and jumped up. You can also dash with B. We don't necessarily need to wait for a lot of those platforms. You'll find throughout the game we can kind of just, climb and dash to get from platform to platform, because most of the time you're jumping over spikes and things like that, and they don't do any damage. You just gotta watch out for the bottomless pits. Now, once we get to this section, I recommend staying on the high side, and we gotta climb on these spikes over to the right-hand side, because we do have a wrench and another active spell. Again, you collect new spells or magic by finding those scrolls, so I'm also collecting those along the way. Even though there's no achievements related to them, it just makes it a little easier to defeat some of these enemies when you have those extra attacks. Now, you do want to make sure that you head over to the left-hand side, even though we took the high side route, because there is a wrench down there on the bottom left. So make sure that if you did take that higher route, that when you get back down to the ground, that you don't proceed to the next part of the level, that you walk back over to the left. Now we can go ahead and proceed. I am going to jump on this platform, but probably only for a minute, because you don't necessarily need it the whole time, as you can see. So I'm just going to proceed. As I mentioned before, just make sure that you kill all of the enemies, because we do need to get that achievement for killing 500 enemies. There are some sections of the game where you could farm it if for some reason you did avoid killing enemies. We're going to have another wrench right there. Going to jump on the platform right here, because I'm not too sure that I would have made that jump. Going to open a box, see if I can get some more stars. I don't recommend spending your stars. There's no reason that we should be buying stuff from the store anyway, because we're in God mode. We don't really need any upgrades or anything like that. So I recommend saving them up, because I'm not sure if it requires you to actively have that much stars, in the bank, versus, just collecting them overall. I cannot confirm that, but there's no reason to spend them anyway, so just save them up until, you have 1,500. If for some reason it doesn't pop at 1,500, as I mentioned before, it happened to me, so we'll grind them at the end. This is actually the part of the game where we will grind the stars and the extra lives, is in this part of the game. So we may come back over here at the end of the game to, grind out our extra lives and stars. But for now, make sure that you just got those 2 wrenches that I just showed you. Now we have another wrench over here to the right. This is one of the ones that I missed personally when I first went through it. After that, we're going to go ahead and drop down. There is a secret area up above. However, there's nothing that we really need in that area. I'll be showing you guys that area later once we're grinding out extra lives and extra coins. But make sure that you pick up all of the stars that you can find. Anytime I say coins in this video, just know that I'm talking about the stars that are dropped when you kill enemies. You're going to collect that last wrench, and that's going to pop our achievement for finding all wrenches. Now make sure that you fall down this pit right here, because this is where you're going to find Jjar. I don't know if that's actually how you say it. It's a double J, but we found Jjar, the secret NPC that we needed to find for this achievement. This is the last achievement I got, guys, just because there was no information on where this dude was hidden at in this game. And personally, I spent quite a long time trying to find this gentleman, so make sure that you fall down that pit. It's the only pit that you can actually fall down in the game, and you're going to find Jjar for that achievement for finding the hidden NPC. So now that we found all of the collectibles, we found the secret character that we needed to find for the achievement. Now we can go ahead and just zoom through the rest of the level and try to get to that boss battle as quickly as possible. And we're just going to knock out this boss, and before you know it, we're already going to be on the 3rd level, guys. I think after this, we're going to be running into the boss. Yep. Alright, so here is the boss called Explosive. You should have collected the bomb power-up when we collected that last scroll. So now you can press Y to switch over to the bombs. I personally like this power-up. You need to stay at a particular distance to be able to hit them, because it is a long-distance attack. Otherwise, you can just, hit her with the X button, hit her with the sword a bunch of times, and that'll defeat her quickly as well. But we're going to get an achievement for 50 gamer score for defeating Explosive. And now we can go ahead and go back to the town. Make sure you save your game, and we're going to move on to the 3rd mission. Again, to save your game, you go over to the character on the left, save it, and then we're going to go to the 3rd level called Roketto. Roketto? Who knows? Tomato, tomato. So in this level, we're going to have a different collectible type. They're called amphoras. Personally, I'm not familiar with what an amphora is. All I know is that they kind of look like carrots. Probably could have Googled it and told you guys, but basically grab the carrot looking things, alright? We need to grab 8 of them. The first one was right there. So we're going to go ahead and proceed with the game. Go ahead and kill enemies because we're trying to get that 500 enemy achievement. As long as, you're killing most of the enemies, you should get it. I mean, you don't necessarily need to kill every enemy through this playthrough to get it. If you did, you'll find that you'll get it, much earlier than by the time you complete the game. So now we're going to end up in this flying area of the game. You want to make sure that you head over to the right and grab that amphora or floating carrot, whatever you want to call it. It's over on the right hand side. Make sure you scoop that one up. Could be easy to miss. And then after that, you're just going to hold X to keep shooting. You don't need to keep pressing it. Personally, I thought you had to keep tapping it. I was wearing out my thumb for no reason. But you can hold down X and it's going to continuously shoot your projectiles, your bullets, whatever you want to call them. And just keep shooting your enemies until you proceed through this section of the game. I don't believe there is any more amphoras or floating carrots in this part of the level. So don't worry about finding any more of those until we're grounded back on the ground. Now this is the area where you can farm the 500 enemies because there's a lot of enemies that are really easy to kill right here. Maybe only take 1 or 2 shots. So personally, this is where I unlocked my achievement for killing 500 enemies. If for some reason by the time you beat the game you don't have it, you can always go back to this level and farm the enemy kills right there during that section. Now at this point we do have a floating wing feature. It's only going to last for this level. Make sure that you go all the way down right there and grab that amphora. This kind of reminds me of like the Jigglypuff mechanic in Super Smash Bros. You got to keep pressing A to flap, or the Flappy Bird mechanic. That's probably the best thing to call it, at least if you played Flappy Bird before. When you get to this section, there's an active spell above and there is an amphora below, so make sure that you don't proceed through that area too quickly. And now that I got the 500 enemies, as you can see, I'm not really working on killing any enemies. I could, to collect the stars and try to get the 1500 stars, but I ended up farming them at the end. You can do that as well if you want to fly through it. I'm going to show you a place at the end of the video where you can rack up the star collections and the extra lives. For now, I'm just trying to complete the game and get all of the collectibles. To kill this boss right here, you are going to have to hit him in his upper area, like upper torso or head area. He doesn't do damage below. After you defeat that Cyclops, we're going to end up in another area where we're flying. Again, just hold X to shoot. That's the easiest way to defeat the enemies. You can also hold down the right bumper to charge up your magic spell. Now we're going to be having a mini boss approach shortly. Here he is. This one's really easy. I don't think it's necessarily considered a boss because we still have to face Roketto shortly. But for this guy, just keep on charging up your spell or magic, and eventually you're going to finish him pretty quickly. Now, no worries, you don't need to look out for any amphoras during this section. During the second flying section, there are no amphoras or collectibles. So once we're done, it's going to say excellent, and it's going to ground us once again. And now we're going to start looking out for those amphoras again. We still have 3 left. Right now we have 5 of the 8. If you ever want to see how many you have so far, you can press start or pause, and it'll show you how many collectibles you have. Now we have our first amphora in this section just below where we spawned, so make sure that you get that one. You're going to have to float up above to make sure that you find it. After that, I just recommend, keep following the rooftops by floating, just because there is that one amphora to the left, and then there is extra life to the right. And then once you start seeing these floating spiked platforms, you want to head over to the left-hand side because you're going to find an amphora floating on one of them. At this point, we only have 1 more amphora left, so head over to the right-hand side. We're going to go to the next part of the level. As you can see, we're at 7 of 8 so far. Keep floating through, and our first one is going to be right there. That one is pretty unavoidable. Assuming you found all 8 of them, that's going to unlock the Memories of Roketto achievement for 50 gamer score. After that, we're going to battle Roketto. If for some reason you guys missed any of the collectibles, you could always go back in the level select and find them once again. Now, Roketto is pretty easy to defeat, pretty self-explanatory. Just keep holding down your X button to shoot, and then personally, I decided to try to throw some bombs at him. It was a little hard to make sure the bombs landed just because, he moved a lot, and with the bombs, you have to be a certain distance for them to hit him. But they do a lot of damage, so that's the method I rocked with. You can use any spell you want. Pretty much at this point, we have quite a few spells, like a handful of them. By the end of the game, you'll probably have around like 8 or 9 spells or something like that. You end up getting a lot of spells throughout the game, at least if you find them. But after you defeat Roketto, we're going to get another achievement for defeating him for 50 gamer score. And at this point, we are making some good progress, guys. After we defeat him, it's going to ground us back in the town, and we can head over to the left-hand side. We're going to talk to the character once again, and we are going to save and then load up the next level. Also, you gain additional abilities after defeating each boss, which is pretty cool. So once you spawn, head over to the left, talk to the character, and just save your game. That's a good practice. You're not going to see me save it. I edited out all of the footage of me saving it just to make this video quick and to the point. But our next level is called the Two-Faced, and this level has like a little ice feature on the ground, so it is a little slippery. So you got to be careful you don't fall into the pit because you will die. So there's definitely some more platforming in this level. So just make sure that you be careful. Again, you can jump pretty far if you dash. In this level, the collectibles kind of look like tennis rackets, like blue tennis rackets. That was the first one. But they're actually mirrors. So we have to collect 8 mirrors to get our achievement related to this level. So just make sure that you follow along and we'll be finding all 8 mirrors. But at the same time, I am moving through the level just a little bit faster. Just because I already got the 500 kills and I don't need to really worry about killing enemies at this point other than trying to collect some stars here and there. Now as you proceed, you're going to see a spell right in front of you. Go ahead and grab that one. That's a new spell that has like these floating orbs. Personally, I didn't really use that spell that much. Make sure that you grab that mirror right there before this enemy that comes at you rolls you over. I think you can actually let it pass you. It's no big deal, but try to get those 2 collectibles while this thing is chasing you. The 2 mirrors that you collect while you're getting chased are pretty unmissable. They're right in plain sight, so you shouldn't miss any of those. Next, we're going to end up in a section of the level where we're rappelling down. I don't know if that's the right term, but I think it is. Or cave diving, whatever you want to call it. But you're going to rappel down. Try to avoid the pillars if you can. I don't think it'll actually go all the way to the wall and smash you. And we don't take any damage because of God mode. So this portion is actually really easy. Probably wouldn't have been as easy if we didn't have God mode. Make sure that you grab that mirror while you're falling down. It is in plain sight, so you shouldn't miss it, but it is on the left-hand side, about halfway through this drop. Once we get to the bottom, we are going to end this rappel portion of this level, and it's going to ground us, and we'll be able to proceed through the level. This part, I felt, was pretty easy. I mean, you shouldn't find any issues with it. After we are grounded, we are going to head over to the right-hand side quickly because you're going to have these spikes that start shooting over. Now, you can get stuck just because, we don't die. If for some reason you get stuck, you could try jumping or dashing. Dashing to the right seemed to work for me. There is an extra life up there. Try to grab it because we do need to collect 25 of them. Now, if for some reason you get stuck in any part of this level, like stuck in between one of these spike platforms or something like that, you can press start and then just go to the cheats and turn off God mode. That way you die and it resets you. Make sure that you do not miss that mirror at the bottom of that pillar. And then we're going to go through this little hallway section and keep dashing so that way you don't get stuck on this spike platform. Either way, you're probably going to get stuck once or twice. It's pretty unavoidable. Next, we're going to find these enemies that are bouncing around. I wouldn't waste your time trying to kill them. Just make sure that you open up the crates because typically the crates, have a bunch of stars in them or lives. On these blue boxes, you need to make sure that you walk fast on them because after you walk on them, they do fall. so you don't have very much time. Right here, you're gonna have to die to get that collectible. I don't know any way that you would be able to survive that. So you're gonna have to die to get that mirror. It's going to teleport you back to your checkpoint, which is no big deal because we can open these boxes again and just get some more stars. If you pick up a collectible and you die, that collectible has already been picked up. So as you're going to see, it's not going to be there anymore. It's going to say that we already collected it, which is cool because we don't have to go through trying to pull off that jump to get that collectible, because it didn't appear that it would have been easy to do that without dying. So after you get it, we can go ahead and proceed. I couldn't find any way to get that life and stars in that box up there, so I just went ahead and proceeded through the level. You can try to figure it out. I couldn't figure out any way to get in there. There's nothing in there that we really need anyway, so I recommend just skipping that part. Here, you want to proceed over to the right. There are going to be some dead ends here with some spikes, so try to avoid those. There's one right there and one right below right here. So I'm going to have to head back and then head over to the right. It appears that at this part of the level, the only portion without a spiked dead end was the bottom pathway. Now here, you want to make sure that you don't walk all the way to those blue blocks. Otherwise, it's going to block the entrance to get your last collectible. Once you collect that last mirror, we're going to get another achievement for 50 gamer score for collecting all of the mirrors. Now we can go ahead and proceed, and we're just approaching the boss battle for this level. This is going to be the Two-Faced. Again, this boss battle is really easy. Just make sure that you charge up your power-ups and use your X button to try to defeat the boss quickly. Now I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through this footage because you don't really need any other tips than that, just because this is cake in God mode, guys. I mean, defeating these bosses is super easy in God mode. But after you defeat her, we're going to get another achievement or trophy called Death of Sisters for 50 gamer score for defeating the Two-Faced. Alright guys, so at this point we have completed the 4 main levels and we have collected all of the collectibles. This last level, like the marathon level I'd call it, does not have any collectibles. At this point, all we need to do is complete this last level and then make sure that you have your achievement for collecting 25 extra lives and for collecting 1500 coins. Now, if for some reason you didn't get those, I'm going to be showing you a way at the end of the video on how to get a bunch of coins and extra lives quickly. Now, in this final level called Warrior Kun, we're going to be getting about 5 achievements that are related to defeating bosses. Again, this is pretty much a marathon level. It's the longest level of the game, and we're going to be facing a handful of bosses. Luckily, none of these bosses are too difficult because we're playing in God mode and we don't take any damage. Also, there are no collectibles in this Warrior Kun level. We simply need to complete the level to get all of the achievements related to it. Now, really, the whole point in this guide was to help you guys with the collectibles. So being that this last level does not have any collectibles, I'm not going to be showing you guys my footage of this full level. So just complete the level. At that point, you guys should have all of the achievements for completing all of the bosses in this level. And then you should only have your achievements related to collecting 25 extra lives and 1500 coins, assuming you didn't get those yet. If you did, congratulations on your full completion or platinum trophy. Now, there's really only one boss where you can actually die, and that's this boss where you can fall down, and if you fall down, you're definitely going to die. So my tip for this one is stay on the block to the very left. This is the only block that doesn't end up disappearing, and this is how you complete this boss. Stay on the block all the way to the left. Now, after you complete this full mission, defeat all the bosses, you're going to end up getting your achievement for completing the game. This is going to offer 100 gamer score. After that, you're going to get to the ending scene of the game, and it's going to push you back to the main menu. What you can do after that is you can go to load game, and you want to load the autosave. The autosave happens once you complete the game, so if you load up that autosave, it's going to have the full game completed. What you want to do is go to the explosive level. In the explosive level, you want to advance all the way through the level until you get to the portion where we found the secret character earlier in the video. In this section of the level, we'll be able to farm extra lives and stars. So once you start off this part of the level that looks kind of like a maze, you want to turn your God mode off. Now, the reason that we're going to do this is because once we collect enough stars and extra life, we're going to have the enemies kill us on purpose, and we're not going to be able to do that unless the God mode is off. So you want to follow where I just went in the video. There's a couple crates up here in the secret area that have a bunch of stars in them, and there's an extra life. So once you collect that extra life, you can go ahead and have them kill you. And at this point, we have collected an extra life and a bunch of stars. And we're just going to rinse and repeat this method until we get the achievement for collecting 25 lives. We do not need to have 25 lives at once. We just simply need to collect 25 overall amongst our game save. We are able to keep rinsing and repeating this because we collect a life and then we die. And then we collect a life and then we die. So we're never actually going negative in lives because we're collecting one before we die every time. And while doing that, we're also collecting coins every time we knock open those crates. Now, eventually you're going to unlock your achievement for getting 25 extra lives, and then more than likely you're going to have your achievement left for collecting 1,500 coins. Now, as I mentioned before, this was a little bit glitched at launch. It wasn't tracking correctly. I didn't get mine once I collected 1,500 coins. I actually didn't unlock it until I had about 2,200 coins collected, and then it finally unlocked. So just know that it'll eventually unlock. If it's not unlocking for you, just keep grinding out and collecting stars, sorry, not coins, and then eventually you're going to get that achievement or trophy. At this point, you should have your full completion or platinum trophy. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and don't forget to like and subscribe.